Hello and welcome to a very special YouTube video. Today we have the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin. It's the 26586IP and it's very special indeed. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here for another YouTube video. The channel is going really well. Please do like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll keep this content coming every week. So here it is. This is a firm favourite down here at Official Watches. It is a truly stunning piece. Now, a few minutes into this review, you might be wondering if you've been given the wrong title, because you came here for the AP Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin. Yet I'm going to be waffling on about Jaeger and the fella behind the concept of gravity. Now that sounds weird, but you're not in the wrong place. Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." In a nutshell, progress is made by building on the work of those who have gone before us. In this case, the giant is Jaeger and their formidable caliber 920. That was first introduced in 1967, and it is both a work of art and technical tour de force. It's a 36 jewel ultra-thin movement with a free-sprung Gyromax balance and powered by a full-sized bi-directional rotor, which runs on a beryllium rail for stability. In short, it's an absolute peach. It's elegant, robust, beautifully laid out, stable, and most importantly, ultra-reliable. It's also probably, surprisingly, the godfather of the Royal Oak and the Nautilus. You see, without the 920, these watches may not have even existed, let alone been as searingly popular as they are today. The original Genta Royal Oak 5402 ST and the Nautilus 3700 from 1972 and 1976 respectively were both powered by the base caliber 920. Albeit that was renamed as the AP Cal 2121 and the PP Cal 28255. Now without it, AP and Patek wouldn't have been able to pull off the wide sporty case and the slim profile that made these watches into the enduring legends that they are today. Fascinatingly, the 920 was never used inside any of JLC's watches. It was actually sold as a movement kit, or to use the technical term, an ébauche. And it was only ever made in the holy trinity of Audemars Piguet, Vacheron Constantin and Patek Philippe. Once the big three had it in their hands, they were free to decorate, tinker, build upon and personalise it to their heart's content. The ébauche is so important that when JLC was being sold to the Richemont Group in 2000, AP as 40% stakeholders successfully negotiated rights to continue its use. Clever move, AP. As an aside, given that Audemars have full manufacture rights over the 920 and they have modified it so significantly at times that it is absolutely an in-house movement. So, which current powerhouse has a highly modified 920 powering its heart? That would be the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin. See, we got there in the end. AP is no stranger to perpetual calendars. They made the world's first Perp-Cal wristwatch in 1955. In 2018, some 63 years later, and having well and truly mastered the art, AP released a full platinum Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin concept piece, the RD2. RD stands for Research and Development, 2 being the second watch to be presented by the R&D department. The first was a minute repeater. The RD2 was crowned GPHG's, that's Grand Prix de Horology de Genève. I hope that I've got some of that right. Crowned the watch of the year, and for very good reason. It was at the time the world's thinnest perpetual calendar, or Quantine Perpetual as AP call it, and it measured an insane 6.3mm thick. This record, however, was beaten in 2021 by Bulgari and their Octo Finissimo Perpetual Calendar, which comes in at 5.8mm thick. That said, the AP has an additional moon phase complication, and it uses a full-size rotor, while Bulgari went with a micro-rotor system. The RD2 achieved a staggering ultra-thin perpetual calendar movement by mounting the parts required for the calendar across the modified 920 base caliber. They did it in a single plain design. Rather than stacking this, they created a one-layer mechanism for the entire piece, rather than one layer for each specific calendar function. The rear of the dial is used as a movement bridge to hold the calendar components, so no space is lost or wasted in the pursuit of thinness. The result of this was the 2.89mm thick AP caliber 5133. So in 2020, AP launched the commercially available but ultra-limited variant of the RD2. The 26586IP, which instead of being full platinum is made from grade 5 titanium. It has a platinum bezel which is secured by white gold bolts. It also has platinum middle links and clasp logo. If it's polished on this watch, it's in platinum. So let's have a look at this piece. Let's get it out, because the truth is you just have to feel it to believe it. The first thing when you get it in hand is just how mind-blowingly thin it is. I mean, that might be obvious, but it's totally crazy. It reminds me of a 50p piece. That is how thin it feels. The weight is absolutely perfect, and the way it shimmers, I just can't get enough of this watch. It blows me out of the water every single time. So let's talk a little bit about the dial, because there was also a change to the dial which has gone from the tapisserie of the RD2, and it's now a metallic blue with vertical graining. Now, I'm not sure of the thinking behind the change, but the flatter blue certainly makes it look less busy. So on a dial bursting with so much information, that can only be a good thing. So the real estate of the dial is as follows. You have a photorealistic moon phase at 12, which I'm just realizing now is the same as on the Perpetual skeleton black ceramic that we've done a video on. So check that out as well. So you have moon phase at 12, month at 3, leap year just below, date at 6, day at 9, and a day and night indicator just tucked in beneath it. Being a perpetual calendar, which takes account of leap years and everything else besides, once you set this watch, you won't need to change any settings. These are all taken care of by inset push buttons. That was until the year 2100, where you'll have to set it again. Perhaps keep the instructions somewhere safe, because your grandkids and the Martians, depending on how things pan out, are going to need to know how to set it. So wear-wise, this is a 41mm, but it wears visibly larger, as its thinness creates an optical illusion of the watch being broader than it really is. Now, if you're watching my videos, you'll always know that the watches with large real estate on the dials are the ones that tend to drive me crazy. Plus the fact it's blue, plus the fact it's ultra thin, this is ticking a lot of Oscar's boxes. So the overall length of the watch is 53mm across the wrist. Now, that lends itself to looking on the bigger side. So in real world conditions, it wears closer to a 42, probably a 43mm piece. But as my preference is for a bit of presence, I'm really happy with it. Now, there is a big trade-off here, and it's always the one that I do see as a little bit of a negative, and it's that the water resistance is 20 meters, so it's splash-proof at best. This is a trade-off between the complexity of the watch and its push setting system, which is robust but not waterproof, and I suppose that's fair enough. I am, however, going to hazard a guess that most people with this particular AP on their wrist probably have a couple of other watches here and there that would be more suited to the riskier pursuits. Make no mistake, guys, this is quite possibly the royal oak to end all royal oaks. As I sit here right now, I am looking at objectively one of the holy trinity of watchmakers' finest pieces. This is an award winner, a feat of history, research, development, hours of design and painstaking labour, beautiful finish, blood, sweat and tears have gone into making this insane perpetual calendar. So how much does the AP Ultra Thin set you back? £182,000, and on this occasion I would say it's worth every cent. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this review. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. This in Jardin du Mayfair has been heaven on earth for the watch enthusiast.